This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so today I'm going to help you with the concept of SRE, and that is very important because if you let's say if you either you do the job in SRE or maybe if you are a part of some interview process, the conceptual questions will be asked and you need to deal with it. So that is something which should first address the what is SRE, why do we need SRE, how SRE works, what are the principles for SRE, what are the functions for SRE, rules, and what are the work we do. All these things we are going to discuss about it. So yes, SRE is site reliability engineering. Okay, so here you have three keywords: site, second one is reliability, and third one is engineering. Site, when I say site, that means your website, app, the one which you're going to take care of it. That means when we say site, that means we are talking about the productions. That means SRE works in the production, not in a pre-production. Mind it. So that is the first thing. Second thing is your job is to bring the reliability for your site. Reliability again, it's a little I know lots of things are involved in terms of reliability. It's not only one word. Here you have a reliability, durability, dependability, quality, availability, probability, and many things we have. And that we need to do that. And then, so your job is to make the reliable site reliable, but the approach which you are going to do is engineering. Okay. So here if you see that what is SRE? So SRE an approach to operations which uses software as a primary tool for managing a system. That means this is just an approach. DevOps was also approach which we discussed last time, and then this is also an approach for the things. So engineering is very important word. So when I say engineering, that means if you think like you learn few tools and then your work is completed, it's not like that. Engineering means you are going to bring the practices what software developers used to do that in a development team. So same practices you're going to bring it in the SRE team also. So if you see the engineering means you have any problems, you're going to write a code for it. Again, set your mindset. Yes, I said you are going to write a code for it. And when you write a code, you have to plan for it, you have to design for it, you have to develop for it, you have to test for it, deploy and maintenance. That means whatever you do in SRE, you have to write a code. Yeah, little bit of programming languages may change, but that is how it is. So this is called site reliability engineering. That means you are going to take care of your productions, application and website, make it reliable with the approach which is called engineering approach and then which you have right now. Are you understanding all of you? Are you understanding all of you?
Yeah, Rajesh. Yep.
Yeah. So this is SRE. Okay, so next thing, so if you want to read this right now, uh, this is the definition from Benjamin. He is the founder of Google SRE. So site reliability engineering is what happens when you ask a software engineer to design an operations team. That means what he's trying to say, we have a software engineer who's been doing the planning, designing, development, testing, and operations, and you have brought those guys. It's not like those engineers, but those mindset, those practices, those principles in the operations team. Okay, so that means you have to act like a developer. You need to have a mindset like engineer. Okay, so this is something which is there. Now, what are the responsibilities of an SRE organization? So, responsibility which include availability, performance, management, and monitoring. Availability means you need to make sure that the your site is available all the time, 24 by 7, 365 days in a week. Now, for this making it available, you have to learn lots of design principles to make the application available, lots of platform, lots of automation, lots of tooling techniques and all these things. So you need to learn that, and on top of that your application should be performing well. Okay, so primarily when you say performance, then you may consider like APM or synthetic or rum. Okay, APM means application performance management, synthetic and rum. So these are the things you are going to do as part of the performance. Incident management, I think we are very you know comfortable with it. We simply say tickets, we got it, tickets, you have to work on it. But in SRE, we do the work on incident, but there is a certain ways to do that, there are certain practices to do that, and that we need to discuss. And monitoring, that means observability. So these are the four important responsibilities for any SRE organizations. So let's say you have engineers, SRE engineers, what are their activities on day-to-day activities? If you want to know, so you have to write a code. For sure you have to write a code. Now you go anywhere, you have to write a code, just accept this reality. You have to be in call, you have to, some issues are there, you have to let the war room. You need to do the post-mortem for the incident and automate the things and implement the best practice. So these are the things you will do as part of SRE. So what are the major function of SRE, site reliability engineering? So three major functions which we should focus. One is eliminating toil. Now question is, what is toil? So toil is something which is automating the work. The toil is something, the work which is repetitive work which can be automated. Okay, that means you are doing manually, but it can be automated, and it's a repeat work. So that is called, kind of called toil. Now, when I talk about the managing risk, so here basically I'm talking about the three S, which is SLI, SLO, and SLA. So agreed several service levels with explicit tolerance. So that's the second function, important function for SRE team. And then last one, handling failures. That means incident management and postmortems. Because you are working in the production, some failures will be there, and how you're going to work it. These are these are the things you are going to do that. So yes, function of SRE. So comparing traditional ops and SRE, how you can compare? So you say like, okay, how it is different from the ops team which we had it earlier, and now we are going to make it SRE team. So how it is different? So again, its approach are different. Look at this here. Here you have a ops team, and here you have a development team. Sometimes you call it a development team, sometimes you call it an engineering team. That's okay. Ops team who manages the software environment site in the production, and then development team who do the planning, development, testing, and all kind of things. So now if you see, if you look at the business, that means management, the organization, software management, software companies management. So they ask ops team, hey, make sure that website should be reliable, it should not be a downtime, it should not be it should be it should be good performance, it should be secured, everything it should be there. But the same time, this business is asking development team, hey, you guys give me the new stuff. Now the problem what is here, the priority of development team is to always develop a new feature, bug fixing, and all kind of things. But here ops team don't like it, because their priority is to bring the reliability. So the more changes you have, the more system will become not reliable, right? The more frequent changes, and then so you may have a adopt new things again and again, and system may not be that much reliable. So here ops team say, hey, I will not accept that, the changes which are coming from you very fast. I need a time to adjust, because my priority is not reliability, not introducing the new feature. But at the same time, development team saying, hey, we have to, make this code live, this feature live, this, that, and all kind of things. So here priority changes, but if you look at the business expectation from both the team, different opposite expectations are there. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yep.
So, if you see that, which are the things which will engineering team will do, and which are the things ops team will do. So if you see that how they coordinate when the release has come, how they coordinate. So here development team works on the design, development, testing, and acceptance testing, whereas ops team focuses on the support, maintenance, and capacity planning. And during the delivery they interact with each other, and that is where, because they are not interacting anytime in the during the course of development or planning or testing or whatever it is, so the delivery get delayed. So now if development team says, hey, we have to deploy this week we have to make a release, then ops team will say, no, 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 because I want to understand each and everything to make sure that it's not breaking our functionality or our platform and security and then performance and all kind of things. So we need a time to understand that. So delivery is time consuming here. So if you see that here, these two teams, different goals we have, different tool sets we have, different tools we have, no common ground. So now that is a problem. Like remember, we always focusing why we are learning DevOps, why we are learning SRE. We always focuses on the immediate delivery. Okay, immediate delivery is what to do. So here there are some characteristics of the ops team which involve in support, maintenance, and capacity planning. So black box delivery, that means whatever the ops team they do, there is no design input. Very limited options are there for automation. Infrastructure level monitoring, you do that. And if you have error, then you do the post acceptance and then work on it. You decide whether you want it or no. I mean, don't want it, go and no go decisions. Conflict you have a guaranteed with engineering team. After the events, mandated service level and reactive supports, that means something happens and then you take care of it. So these are some of the traits of ops team. Now what is SRE team then? So I'll give you one scenario. Here, one scenario where SRE team, ops team, we have no idea about that, how it is designed, how it has been developed, how it has been tested, acceptance testings and all kind of things. They have no idea about it. And the same time, development team have no idea about the operations environment, limitation, productions, traits. So let's say you are a SRE team right now. I am an engineering team. Okay. So if I which option is better, you think in a very simple way, which option is better? Let's say I started doing the some development, and if I say, hey, I have started doing my some development of certain features, I need this environment, this tool, this programming language, this scripting, this front end, this back end, this particular web server, this particular app server, these are the database, these are the number of traffic which you are expecting on this. So I informed you much in advance, so I started doing the planning and same time I informed you all this information. So now you have at least some idea about it, right? You will be prepared for it, correct? Now again, when I develop, then I involved you, saying that, hey, you come and join us, this is how we run the software, this is how we, these are the prerequisites, these are environment variable needed, this is how we troubleshoot, okay, these are the functions which we have, and these are the delivery we have, these are the way to check, these are the checklists to validate whether it's running or not running. So all this thing I'm involving you much in advance during development also. During the testing, acceptance testing also, I'm telling you, okay, these are the checklist number of test cases which you perform and which we perform, so we validate, okay, this is good or this is not good. Or if I just give you after the development, after the testing, if I give you the software to use it, which option is better? Tell me, which options? Whether the
Working
team
together, yeah, working together is a better option.
right, because that way let's say you're a SRE team and I'll say, hey, tomorrow we have to make a feature release for this DevOps X product. Then you'll say, no problem, I know that what particular how I know your development, what environment you had it, how you perform acceptance testing, everything I know that, because you've been sharing from last 3 months, we've been interacting on this from last 3 months, so I know that we were ready for this. So yes, I can make a release to tomorrow, no problem. Okay, but in other case, ops case, what will happen? Ops will say, okay, it's a complete surprise for me. I just need time to prepare. Give me 1 month, 2 months to prepare KT, this, that, and all, and then we'll think about it. Right? So here you see that SRE team, the approach is changed here. Here, what is happening? SRE team is involved. I said involved. See, still there are two teams. Still there are two teams, but SRE teams are involved during design, development, and acceptance testing, whereas development team is also involved during the support and capacity planning and delivery. So this is just an approach changes actually. So here what happens, SRE team, they have the ongoing design inputs, they know everything, they have extended automation options also, user focused monitoring, full agency dev support, dev team supports, stop deployments, hand back the pager, and after the events, agreed service level and limited support time. So these are the traits of SRE team. Now, if you compare the DevOps versus SRE, so here you see that I told you last time also, DevOps, you have all the team members as part of the one team. Whether you are dev, QA, or operations, is a one team. And the business asking, hey, give me both the things. Give me the reliability and the new stuff together. But DevOps team say, okay, I'll try to give it to you. But at the same time, you know what happens? Transforming into the DevOps team is very challenging. Why? Because you have a teams, one team for doing everything, but they say, hey, you are asking the new feature and at the same time reliability, but we have you know we have a training going on, we are learning new tools and techniques, right? We have a limited automation option, so just wait for it. So these are the things, because you are asking everything. And then DevOps team, who's responsible for everything, they have their own challenges also. So here in a DevOps team, we discuss as it is last time, there is a team who's involved in everything: design, development, testing, acceptance testing, delivery, support, maintenance, and capacity planning. Whereas they have a shared goals, overlapping skill sets, consistent tools, and common basis. But SRE team still is a separate team, but you are only working with them. Are you understanding? Look at this: DevOps team, one team; SRE team still is a separate team, but they are very closely working with the development team and engineering team. Are you understanding?
Yes, Ashish.
Yeah. So this is the difference between the
So when it comes to SRE, what are the role in DevOps team? How it in the DevOps, the SRE?
your
Mm.
voice is breaking very badly for me. I'm not sure about others. Is it same for others or only for me?
Yeah, it is all. It is the same for others as well. We cannot understand.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna let it in chat. So let me that is.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so SRE team and DevOps team, there are certain things which is common. Okay, so they focus on the quality and velocity together. Automation and toolings, again, they focus on this, removing the silo. But DevOps has a broader remit. Significant cultural changes required. That means I told you, remember, if you want to become a DevOps engineer, you have to become a you have to become architect, you have to become a developer, you have to become a testing team, you have to become operations. Everyone you have to. It's a share work actually. But in SRE, you are more towards the prescriptive, towards the operations, plus integration with the very close integration with the development team. Okay, so now you see that here development team and operations team combined together, and then you become a DevOps team, and which required significant investment, acceptance of change required, needs outside help, and uneven rollout. Whereas for operations to SRDT migration is very easy in every organizations, and you must know that most of the organizations are failed to do the real implementation of the DevOps. Okay, the moment you see there is a dev team, there is a QA team, and there is a DevOps team, that means this is a failed implementation of DevOps. And that is the reason Google introduced saying that, hey, DevOps is very good, very good, they have lots of benefit from bringing the DevOps practices in a team. But the problem is most of the organizations are failed to implement the DevOps. So let's do one thing: let's first implement the SRE. Let's let them still be a two team, okay, but let them start working very closely with each other and bring the certain practices and approach, and slowly you can become a one team, like that. Okay, so a DevOps team has to know everything, all the technology from the programming language till operations. But SRE team, not need to know programming language towards the software development, but towards the operations work. This way. And development team also, some certain things they don't need to know, so that way they can help each other. So little bit of platforms are overlapping, like where you're running, let's say AWS, Kubernetes, Docker, and all. But other automation options, they have a not overlapping. Okay, so are you understanding now what is SRE at a high level? What is the difference between ops versus SRE, SRE versus DevOps, and traditional versus SRE? Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes.
Okay, so now exploring the key tenant of SRE. So here, let's say if you want to start implementing the SRE, you want to become SRE engineer in a simple way, then what you are going to do? What are the work you are going to do? How you are different from ops to SRE? How, let's say you are right now ops taking care of the production servers and all the infrastructure ops work. How can you become a SRE? What are the things you have to do? So first of all, you have to work on the eliminating the toil. That is the very first thing you have to do. Second thing, you have to work on it on a service levels, and third one, managing the failures. So these are the three important things you need to start working on it. Okay, so eliminating the toil, that is very important for you. So now look at this. There's one scenarios. What happens? There is a one server which we have, and the logs is being filled very badly. Okay, on the operation, I mean the production servers. So approach number one, what you do, log in weekly, delete the all logs. Now basically, when you do the new release, again the logs fill the disk daily. So now what you did, because a repetitive, what you did, you write as an ops team, you said, okay, let's do one thing, let's write a script which will delete the old logs, and you can run this as part of the daily and stuff like that. Now this is okay for till you have a 2 3 machines and all, but when you have a 50 machines, again the number of machines comes up, I mean scale up to 50, again reduce to 100, reduce to 25, again scale up to 100. So like that, if it is happening, it's very difficult to do that, right? Again, you have to spend a lot of time for that, manual efforts are needed. Then what you can do, then you say, okay, create a cron job and run the script daily. So tell me, this is a SRE work or ops work? This is SRE work or ops work?
Is it ops work?
Yeah. So what is SRE work then?
To automate.
So here, this, remember that SRE team, ops team will not interact with the development team, whereas SRE team will interact with the development team. So then now the SRE team will talk to development team saying that, hey, can we sit together? I have a problem, these problems. Can we tweak the application itself, some configuration, so we don't have to have so much of logs generated. Maybe you can set some levels of logs, and we will set it depends on the requirement and so on. Easy, solve the problem. So what is, you don't have to do all these things struggling for throughout the day. If you have a right integration with the development team, you can fix that. So work with the dev team to reduce the logs, and that is SRE approach. Are you understanding? Integration, more closer integration. Else you, if there is no integration between the dev and SRE team, then you keep struggling for it, keep automating, keep struggling for it, keep coming in new kind of issues, and there is no end of for it, right? Correct now?
Yep, makes sense.
So yeah, that's the SRE approach. Now again, in terms of service level, yes, uh, you need to maintain the service level. New release has come. You know the new release always create some issues in terms of reliability. So new release bug causes latency issues. So what you did, in order to avoid the latency issues, performance should not be impacted. So what you did, increase capacity. Okay, and the report issued to the dev team. Okay, so after that, what happened, the new release they introduce where the config changes again create outages. So what you did, fix config and restore the services. Okay, so because of this upcoming issues, because of the new release always creating issues in your operations, and which is creating a reliability issue, so what you did, you said, no, 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 I will not accept any new release, block new release for agreed period. Why? Because you are working on the service level, so you have to maintain the service level agreement. And because of new release, it was causing a problem. How do we deal with it? How do we deal with it? So new release should not create a latency issues, new release config issues should not be creating outages. How do we deal with it? So this is something which you have to understand with SLA, SLI and SLO. Now how to manage failures. Okay, so DNS changes causes outages. That means someone had changed the DNS, and because of that there's a outages. So what you did, manually logged in, fixed the DNS issues, you did the post-mortem root cause also, but later on you know did some post-mortem, and then you decided to automate that, and then you recommended the team there should be DNS change control tool. So if any, let's say if someone is modifying the DNS automatically, immediately it should be reverted back. Any changes, if it is not approved, then immediately it should change back. So you should have the change tool, so which is an SRE approach. So understanding why SRE works. So here, conflict between dev and ops, which is very explicit, and contracted service level business buy-in, where integration between the dev and ops, share responsibility, share workload, and common toolkit. SRE prescriptive practices, on-call team and target, percentage of age, SRE team on toil, service level framework, IT-led migrations, and so on. Some of the things I'm ignoring it. Okay. Now, Ben Trainer, he's saying it is what happens when you ask a software engineer to design a operation functions. So now next topic is, so out of three function of SRE, one is like toil management, second one is service level management, and third one is post-mortem incident response. So first one we'll discuss in detail. So automation and eliminating toil. So what is a toil? So toil, which we discussed, anything which is labor intensive, repetitive work, and then something which can be automatable. It can be automated, and that is considered to be toil. Now question is, what is overhead? So overhead is the kind of work which is done by your employees, uh, which is not impacting your operations, but it's impacting their working hours. For example, you attended some interviews. I mean, you are taking some interviews, or some birthday parties, or some team outings, or some HR works, or something like that. Meetings. So these are the kind of work which is called overhead. And what is a strategic work? Strategic work, which is basically futuristic work, innovation. So the work which is strategic include production readiness reviews, early engagement, continuous improvement, and so on. So now what Google says, you have to balance between the work which is overhead, toil, and strategic for the every SRE employees. If you're not able to balance, then it is a problematic. How? Let me show you. So now if you see that there are certain works you have, means if you consider this whole line, it's 100% of work assigned to SRE engineer. Out of it, certain works is overhead, certain works is toil, certain work is strategic. Are you okay with these slides, all of you?
Yeah, Rajesh.
So now let's say, look at this here. If you do not manage the toil effectively, what will happen? Look at this. See that. If you do not take care of the toil, sooner your project will be in only support mode. The future in automation enhancement and all will be stopped. So if you do not fix the toil, it would stop future work, and that is a disaster for any organization. So toil management is very important. Okay, so now how do we do the toils, whether it's a toil or not? Let's understand with this example. There is a one server which is saying, which is not responding. So someone has raised a ticket saying that server is not responding. So what you did, you log into the server. Okay, that is a manual work which is repetitive, or it can be automated, and you restart the process. Something like that you might have done it in your with your experience. Sometime what happens, server is not responding. So what you did, you log into the server, restart the process, and started working. Correct, no? So is it a toil or not? Tell me.
It is. It is a
Yeah,
trial.
because it's a manual, repetitive, automatable, reactive, low values, scale linearly. How can you do that? How can you fix it? So first you decide, is it a toil? Yes. If you think you can do that, and if the robot is saying even I can do that, script also can say I can restart the process, that means it's a toil. So what you need to bring, so in order to become ops to SRE, you need to find out the strategic work, high in value, and the which human if he is doing it is worth of doing it. Okay, so engineering in SRE, so you have to bring the engineering approach in SRE. So include system engineering, software engineering, and now how can you fix it? So here you see that it's a permanent fix. So here what we decided, as ops team will keep doing this one again and again, but SRE team will say, hey, let's introduce the new technology, and that's called container or Kubernetes. And why? Because container has a default health check, and if some of the containers are not working well, automatically they will restart, and if not restart also not successful, they'll out of the service. So these all functionality you have in the container, you don't have to do anything as such. Just a technology upgradation has solved your problem, and this is called SRE approach. Okay, so fix the issues. Okay, so Google suggests at any given point of the time you should not cross the toil more than 50%. Okay, that is the recommendation from the Google. So yeah, stated limit, Google uses 50%. They have communicated publicly commitment to the team and toil guarantee as part of the job spec. Management should support and clear difference from the ops. Okay, so now here you see that out of 50%, because Google suggested 50%. So out of 50%, you know, the 70% of the work should be focused on, okay, uh, you know, the incident response, and out of 33% should be focused on the automating those work. So that way you'll have a limited downtime. So these are the some of the practices. Yes, toil can be attractive, quick fixes, sense of achievement built, it's short term. That means, you know what, sometimes toil is good. Why? Because you have a quick fixes and people feel good about it while fixing it. But it's, but if you automate everything, sometime it's bad for the team morale, because team will think everything is automated, what to do extra. And people, just in order to get the more challenging work, sometimes people moves on also. Okay, so how do we identify and measure the toil? So let's identify and measure the toil. So in this example, if you see, there is a one new employee joined to your organizations, and you are supposed to add their access to GitHub, Azure subscription, Slack channels, certain systems as a read only, and certain system as a contributor, and then you have to automate all this process. Okay. So first identify and measure the toils. So how do we identify? So some of the practices which I'm going to talk about it. So here identifying and measuring toils, which should be driven by data driven analysis. Identify the toil and then quantify the toil. Again, you should check the toil reduction backlog, prioritize the projects. Also, you should check the who is involved in it and progress. And also you should do the cost benefit analysis, whether that particular toil is worth it to work on or not. Also, you should check all the engineering approach and automation options available. You should also check the build cost versus toil cost. That means if I don't automate, how much it will impact. If I automate, how much it will impact. And then cost also. So how do we identify the toil? So identification, automation candidate, which includes analysis, documentation, and repeatable processes. So now you should try to, for any toils, actually look at this, you have a 6 people, 20 working days, 6 people in SRE team. So the total capacity is 120 days, out of which 50% you are spending time on the engineering budget, 50% you are spending time on the 40 days you are spending time on the on call, and 20 days you are spending time on additional toil, 60 days for the engineering budget. So total you have a uh, 120 days. So you have to plan how much you required for that. So look at this here, just prioritize this one. So here you have a three toil: onboarding, patching, provisioning. So you estimated, okay, onboarding, how much effort is needed for automations? 1 day. How much time you are spending to work on this onboarding issues? 1 day. How much time you're spending on the patching issues? Let's say 2 days. How much time you're spending for the provisioning? 1 day. What are the frequency of work in a month? You do five times, 2 times, and 3 times. So overall you spend 5 days for first task, 4 days for second task, and 3 days for third task. Are you okay? Can you please tell me which one you should prioritize by looking at this toil?
Onboarding. This frequency is high.
Onboarding. Okay, now you think about it better. So you identify here. Look at this here. So here, onboarding, add to GitHub repos. Can you automate? Yes, API is available. Add to Azure subscription, API is available. Add to Slack channels, API is available. But adding a system to as a read only and contributor, API is not available. So certain you have a no API. So now this onboarding will take 65 days. Let's say you estimated this 5 days you have a work in a month, but in order to automate all this work, you need a 65 days. Okay. And now in order to do the patching work, 40 days. And in order to do this environment creation, 10 days. So now you tell me which one you should prioritize. Now you tell me which one you should prioritize. First one. So here you are in a month, you are losing 5 days for onboarding, 4 days for patching, provisioning, 3 days. But in order to automate, first one 65 days, patching 40 days, and provisioning 10 days. So which one you will prioritize?
I'm still with onboarding because it's taking longer time.
Which one?
Onboarding.
But you require 65 days to fix that. I mean, automate it. So if I'm
But
at
then provisioning.
provisioning,
Service
will
level
be
provisioning.
giving the worth, right? Because you just take 10 days and
10
3
days. Yeah.
days you are saving it, right? So look at this, how it
Okay.
changes. So you have to, you have to SRE team work on the first identifications. Second thing, estimate, identify. Okay, first learn to identify whether it's a toil or not. Second, estimate. Okay, and then prioritize. So these are the three things you have to learn in SRE team. So these are the three traits. What are the three traits of SRE engineers in terms of toil management? So first I should learn, okay, whether it's a toil or not. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, I should learn how much time it's consuming right now. Okay, and second thing, third thing, I should estimate for how much time it will take to automate it. And then fourth thing, I should prioritize based on those inputs. Okay, so I hope you understood now, all of you.
Mhm.
I'm ignoring some of the stuff which is not important. Yeah. Now, second important function for SRE is managing the service level. Okay, service level. So how do we manage the service level? So we have a three important, keyword which you say, SLI, SLO, SLA, service level indicator, service level objective, and service level agreement. What is the service level indicator? So anything which you've been monitoring. So you might have learned Datadog, New Relic, Splunk, Elasticsearch, Prometheus, all these things. So these tools, anyways, as part of this tool is as part of this session, I'll teach you all these things. So here, as part of anything which you're getting the realistic number from the system, okay, let's say percentage of error, percentage of CPU utilizations, or let's say total number of traffic, total number of errors, yeah, request per second, or maybe response per user, average response per user. So all these are indicator which is you're getting from the system. When you set up observability, you get it from the system. Now what is SLO? So SLO, before SLO, understanding SLO, you need to understand SLA. So SLA is basically agreement between you and your client. your team and your client, your company and your client, saying that, oh, okay, I promise, company will promise, I promise, I give you the commitment of I will not let this errors per this much of errors, I'll not bring it to this level, or your response time will be always 0.5 seconds per average response time, or something like your uh, latency will be very low, something like that, or maybe your percentage of CPU utilization, I mean you'll be this much of percent. So this SLA always fixed in terms of percentage, always remember that. Okay, so now what is happening, SLI is something which you have from the real number on your performance, whereas SLA is agreement, and SLO you will make it, you will set it up for SRE team to make sure that SLA is never breached. Okay, so SLO should be below the SLA, and you should always compare SLI versus SLOs to make sure that SLO should never breach. So SLO is the objective of SRE team, and you must hit to the meet that agreement of SLA. Are you understanding, all of you?
So SLIs, sorry, the service level indicators, they are the
Ha,
numbers,
SLI
right?
is the one which you get it from the system, real numbers,
Mm,
real matrices. But
real
SLA is
matrices, right?
agreement you made it, and SLOs is the one which you
How,
you as a
how much you
SRE
have
team set
accomplished?
set a targets, saying that okay, let's say you committed SLA, let's say response time should be, average response time should be 1 second. So you will set up SLO 0.7, so at 0.8, so that way you have a little buffer in order to avoid the agreement break, basically. Okay, so this is something which we have. So yeah, SLI, which is a key performance metrics, measure product characteristics, always calculated in percentage. SLO, which is a core for SRE practices, data-driven approach, build smart SLOs. SLA, which is agreement between you and a client, and if you break this, you'll have to incur a loss actually. So these are some of the extra things I think is not required. These are the emotions when SLO and SLA get broken, and all this thing. I'm just ignoring the theoretical part because you understand that what is the second job. And third important thing is, just a second. And third important thing, which is of your job, is to manage incident. Remember that if someone asks you, what is your job? So you say, hey, managing toils. Second job, managing a service level. Third job, incident management. Okay, on call and postmortem. So this is the third important job for any SRE engineers. Okay, so what is this incident management? So here, incident management, basically you will be on call, alerted on SLOs, acknowledge alerts, begin investigations. You need to respond timely, business critical within a 5 minutes, urgent within 30 minutes. Okay, major commitment, no social engagement, sleep deprivation and stress. That means because most of the SLO, I mean the guys who's working on managing the incident, their work hours is very odd, sometime night, sometime early morning, sometime you know different what do you call it, routines they have it. So that is some of the stress you have. So control, coordinate and communicate. So here these are the stakeholders who will be working on the incident management and postmortem. The person who's working and heading this initiative, that is called incident commander. Okay, so he's the leader for the each incident, who's heading the whole initiative for incident management, and who will be communications between the client and then incident commander. So incident communication lead, CL. And then we have a ops lead who's taking care of entire ops team, and ops team will work that way here with the SRE individuals. So these are the three important people who work on it. So first of all, we decide whether it's an incident or not. And if you have an incident, what are the standard response you should give it. If the recent incident has occurred, then what are the playbooks to follow? Playbooks means the written procedures to troubleshoot and gather the more information. And if it is a no incident, you have to declare like that. Also, incident will have a past experiences and issues complexity also, and also you should specify investigation time and impact on the system. So that these are the information will be contained on the incident. Okay, so the flow should be like this: IC appointed for any incident. IC will continue again after that. OL continue investigations. Communication leader appointed. Incident doc issued. OL adds more investigation and incident doc updated. So this is the kind of loop which keep coming and we work on it. So yeah, these are the people. IC, OL and CL work in a waste to work on the incident, and they try to do the postmortem and RCS and stuff like that. Okay, so how do we work on the incident? So if you have an incident, you have to work with these are the 5 recommended model from the Google. So first you have to triage, second you have to examine, third you have to diagnose, fourth you have to test, fifth you have to cure. So here these are the 5 model typically you should follow in order to work on the incident. So triage means first of all you try to get back as soon as possible to get good enough. That means somehow you can work around. And then you should also check the remediation tactics. You can add more compute power, reroute the traffic so downtime can be avoided. You can downgrade the services to the older latest version to a lower version and all this stuff. And the output for this is stable system. So that is the first thing you have to do, triage. Second thing, you have to examine it. Okay, so after that, once this you have done the triage, then you have to examine the incident, understand the problem, identifying the trigger, and multiple tools are involved in it. So this is where then I'm going to teach you multiple tools, like most of the tools are monitoring tools. I'll teach you for the metrics, dashboarding, logging, service graph, distributed tracings and all. So multiple tools will be there, which is a part of this session. And yes, you have to examine, understand the problem, identifying the triggers and output. Now you know the problem and trigger. Then after that you have to diagnose. Okay, find the possible root cause for it. And again for that you have a multiple analysis tools for it. And after that you can shortlist of the potential causes. And after that, once you find out all the root cause analysis, then you have to do identify the probable cause, and then try to do certain testing techniques, manually recreate the workflows, call web apps, APIs, connect and check the permissions, document everything, trace database calls, everything you have to do that. And the last one, cure, fix the problem, document the solutions, and deliver the stuff. So these are the 5 stage you have to follow in order to work on the incident. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes.
Yeah, Rajesh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
Rajesh.
again, I'm revising one more things. If first thing we discuss about what is SRE. Second thing we discuss what is ops versus SRE. Third thing we discuss DevOps versus SRE. Fourth thing we discuss what are the responsibilities of SRE. Fifth thing we discuss about how to work as SRE. So you work means you have a 3 work. You have to do the toil management. Second work, managing the service levels. Third work, incident management. In the toil management, first of all you have to identify the toil, and then you have to check that the toil, how much time, how much time it's taking to work manually. And then third thing, you will do that estimation of work, how much time it will take to automate it. And then accordingly you will prioritize the toil and work on it. Basically, how to work on the toil. So basically you should find the approach which is codifying everything, talking to development team to fix it, and bringing the engineering approach to manage to work on the toil. That is the important thing. Again, managing the SLOs and SLAs will be primarily done through the monitoring tool which you learn, and then you have to, at any cost, you have to make sure that SLO is under SLAs, and you have to respect that. Third thing, incident management. So any incident which you got assigned, again multiple teams are involved, and each incident has to go through this process of triage, examine, diagnose, test, and cure. Are you okay, all of you?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, how do we perform the post-mortem? So in the cure things, you will document, publish the documents, okay, and saying that okay, these are the something. So what are the things you should be there? So in the postmortem documents, you should not blame someone, saying that you have made a mistake, or you should not blame individual. Rather than, you should be focused on the document which talk about the incident and resolution and root cause and fixes. Okay. Also, it should be reviewed and published through the SRE team, and also it should be blame free, neutral, and constructive and positive, not like blaming each other. Okay, so this is some template we see for the postmortem. By the way, these templates now, most of the tools, let's say you are using ServiceNow or Jira or some other tools, they have this inbuilt template. So you just follow the template and you'll be following the best practices. But yeah, it's good to know which are the things which you should be a part of the postmortem. Okay, so these are the some action item, timeline, problem summary, lesson learned, executive summaries, and stuff like that. Okay, so this is the something which I just ignore it and done. So guys, this is your SRE. Did you understand, all of you? Any questions?
Yeah. Thanks, Rajesh. So far it's good.
Rajesh,
Cool.
I'm having a query regarding Azure subscription API. How do I
Mhm.
find out those things?
Azure subscription, you have to create an account actually.
No, no, no.
30 days.
APIs. I'm talking about API, Azure API.
But which tool you are using for talking to the APIs?
DevOps.
No, 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 tool. See, you will use certain tools to talk to API, right?
Device 42 to discover something.
I don't know, but if you're using Azure, it has a built-in API actually.
Okay.
Azure API. Or if you are using this one, what would you say? Azure PowerShell, that also has a
Yes.
built-in
Yes.
API.
Yes.
So those are having built-in API. You don't have to specify, but the URL, I think we can get this document
Okay.
for that. So check this document. Somewhere they
Okay.
must be mentioning that API. API dot Azure dot something like that. It will be there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I think this is so URL you don't need it, because most of the tool which you are using for API work, like let's say you are using Azure ARM, that has inbuilt.
Okay.
I mean, that's anyways is there. Terraform has a provided inbuilt in that. Azure
Okay.
PowerShell also has an API built in. So like that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Okay. So I'll give you some assignments today. Okay. And you try to submit these assignments on debug school. Okay. And next session onwards, we'll have a one tool every day. So one day, one tool we'll learn. So that way we'll try to finish this in the next 3 weeks or something. Will that be okay for everyone?